Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I'm back again to give you a little eye candy of a bunch of different Horween leather wallets and actually some shoes today. We're going to go over some of the stuff that we're shipping out, and I have a couple special irregulars that will be going up on the website today. As soon as I hit publish on this video, those will be available on the website, and I have a bunch of custom wallets that we're also sending out. Let's start first here with my new long wings from Grant Stone. These are a natural chrome excel, and I wanted to give you a little fit update on these. I just tried these on for the first time. So the size that I originally picked up from Grant Stone on these diesel boots, this is the size that Wyatt suggested, and this is a 9.5 triple E. So it's very, very wide. And he suggested these, and I'm so glad he did because these fit very nicely. And I noticed that they were having a sale on these long wings. So last week I picked up a pair of the natural chrome excel long wings from Grant Stone, and they only had a 9.5 E available. So I thought it would be smart to sort of try this out. I noticed that I had a little bit of extra room in my diesel boots in the forefoot. So I thought maybe going a little slimmer would be an interesting thing to try. These are a little bit tighter. In fact, I would say significantly tighter. The place that they're pinching me the most now is on the mid part of my foot, sort of above the arch here. And they're pinching a little bit. I'm decided to keep them because I don't think it's that bad of a pinch, and I'm wearing very thick socks today. So I think if I wore a less thick sock, this would be about perfect for me. But I thought it'd be valuable for me to explain the difference for anybody that's shopping for shoes right now, specifically from Grant Stone, what the difference between triple E and E is. Wyatt was explaining it's about a half size different. So you got to compensate a little bit for the width when you're talking about your size as well. The best advice that I can give is to trust Wyatt's advice. He's definitely guided me in a great direction with the triple wide here. But you might want to just reach out to him first with your specific size. Tell him what boots and shoes you're already wearing that fit you nicely, and let him guide you in a good direction. Okay, let's move on to a couple things that are shipping out today. And this is our new one-shot card holder. This one is in a really cool piece of raw shell Cordovan, and it has been personalized for DMH. I like these little one-shots. They're a great little front pocket wallet. And I suggest using 6 cards in these, although you can really load it up and sort of stretch out the leather and let it accommodate more like 10 cards. I don't like to suggest that many cards because it does make the cards a little bit more cumbersome to access. So I don't like to go more than 6, but thank you so much for supporting us, DMH. I really appreciate it. And I have a really beautiful whiskey shell Cordovan Fat Herbie. This one is going to Hong Kong, and I'm really excited for you to have this all the way across the world. This whiskey shell piece, this is one of the nicest pieces of whiskey shell that I've seen in a long time. It has a really great golden brown color, a little bit more yellow than most of the natural shell Cordovan, if you're familiar with that color. And the whiskey shells are very rare. They're tough for us to get. I'm really glad somebody picked up a Fat Herbie in this. Just check out how nice that ink stamp is positioned in the center there on the inside. It's a great looking Herbie. Up next here, this is a wallet that we're actually clearing out. This is a black Chrome Excel Johnny of the Fox with the black horsehide interior. I've switched all of the black non-shell Cordovan leather over to the Dublin recently, and the Chrome Excel is very nice, but I just think that the Dublin is next level. It has a little bit more intense grain character than the Chrome Excel. The Chrome Excel is a little bit more polished and smooth. I think, just for me personally, and I'm sort of imposing my opinion on everybody else, I just think that the Dublin is a little bit more interesting. I tend to like how the Dublin wears in when you wear it in your pocket, a little bit more than the Chrome Excel. So for that reason, we're switching them all. And this one, this Johnny the Fox, has been personalized for PDH. So thank you so much, PDH. And before I move on to some of the custom wallets we're sending out today, I thought it'd be good to put these up a little earlier in the video. I have 5 irregular wallets that will be available on our website under the sale page. And if you're seeing this right now and the video just came up, I just put up these wallets. I want you to be able to hear it here first. So up first, I saved the best for first, which is new for me. This is a raw shell Cordovan Fat Herbie. This is an irregular because there are some very small stitching inconsistencies. Like you can see on the top here, the stitch got away from us a little bit right there. And there's a weird stain on the back here, a little dot. That's hard to see, but it is there. So this is an irregular raw shell Cordovan Fat Herbie. It's a really nice piece, and a lot of people have been interested in the raw shell. If you're looking for patina, I highly suggest this raw shell Cordovan. This is a leather that is going to age and develop an incredible patina. The one that I wore for about a year is maybe 20 shades darker now, and it's just developed a really nice natural shine to it. So the raw shell Cordovan, it's been a dream of mine for many years. Definitely worth trying out. Now, this whiskey shell Cordovan Fat Herbie is very nice, and the irregularity on this is so minor, but it is a little bit different. If you look closely at the leather on the back right here, it might be tough to see, but there's some little discoloration in the shell. That's sort of like striations, little linear sort of scratches they will look like, but they're not scratches. It's still smooth. It's just a little bit of a color difference. So for that reason, we have to discount this one as an irregular. I just don't have it in me to charge full price for this one, but this is probably one of the best irregulars that we've had in a long time. If you're looking to check out a Fat Herbie, I really suggest this whiskey shell. Oh, this is a really cool Fat Herbie. The intense blue shell on this Fat Herbie is incredible. Look at that bright, smooth, shiny luster. And the color on this one seems to be a little bit lighter and more aqua than some of the intense blue that I've seen before. All the shells are stained by hand, so we do see some random variation in the color, and that is to be expected, but this one is one of my favorite versions. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit more aqua. Really like this color. This wallet is irregular for some very, very small stitching inconsistencies. They're probably even too hard to see on the video here, but if you look closely at the stitch line there, it's just not perfectly straight on the top edge. It got away from us just a little bit there. So for that reason, we have to make it an irregular, but it is a very nice looking Fat Herbie here. And I have two more irregulars to show you. This one is a Fat Herbie in black chrome excel. And this particular wallet is a little bit thinner than most of the Herbies that we tend to see and that we tend to make. I really like the thickness of this, and I believe that this is made with horsehide chrome excel. And you might be familiar with the horsehide chrome excel. If you're familiar with Arrow leather jackets, they use this leather on all those jackets in the horsehide. The horsehide is very similar to the steerhide stuff, but it does tend to be thinner. And I see, if you look very closely, and if you had two different pieces of black chrome excel in your hand, one was a horse and one was a steer, you could notice that the horse has a little bit different grain character. I would say it's a little grainier and a little bit more pronounced grain on the horse hides. But this is a really great Fat Herbie. I'm really excited for somebody to pick this one up. Honestly, I would probably pick this one out for myself of the batch here. I'd like a thinner Fat Herbie, which is ironic. And I have one more irregular to show you today. This is a natural chrome excel Fat Herbie. And this is also an irregular for a couple cosmetic issues. There's some stitching inconsistencies. Again, we seem to be having that same spot where we get issues up here on the top right. You can see that the thread tension just wasn't absolutely perfect there. We weren't pulling the thread through tight enough. And there's one little scuff scratch here on the top right. This is a really good looking Fat Herbie other than those two cosmetic issues that we see on the outside right here. If you're looking to try out some natural chrome excel to match, maybe you got some Grant Stone natural diesel boots or some natural chrome excel long wings from Grant Stone. This is the same leathers that I like it in footwear, and I also really like it in the small leather goods like this Fat Herbie. And I have a bunch of really special custom wallets to show you. A lot of these are going to some of our friends in Japan, and they really like fun color combinations, and we're always really happy to make them because the choices that they have been choosing, but very, very nice. So on this Tony the Ant, we've got a lot of stuff going on. So on the left side here, we have a piece of reverse shell on top of a color number 4. And the middle piece is color 8. Then we have a color 8 again with amaretto on the right. On the outside here, we have what I think is a really good look, the whiskey shell Cordovan on top of the reverse color 8 that you can see on the inside. That is a really great looking Tony the Ant. We've made a few that have looked similar to this, but I really like how all these colors are coming together. I just think this is a really, really special Tony the Ant here, and we have plenty more to come. All right, here's another really great Tony the Ant. This one has natural shell Cordovan card holders on top of whiskey shell card holders, and then whiskey in the middle. On the outside, we have another piece of whiskey shell Cordovan on top of the reverse shell Cordovan with the Horween ink stamp right in the center. This one's really cool too. I'm really happy with how the natural looks on top of the whiskey. You can really see how the whiskey is a little bit more yellow when compared to the natural. The natural has like a little bit more orange brown to it, a little bit more red. But that turned out really well. I'm kind of surprised at how well that turned out. What a beautiful looking Tony the Ant this one is. And I really like this color combination as well. This was one of the first color combinations we ever did as a company. In fact, there was another Japanese store called Ships in Japan, and they ordered this same color combination with the whiskey on top of color 8. They had originally ordered that on our Fat Herbie, but I've always been a fan of how the color 8 and whiskey look together. This is probably one of my favorite Tonys that I've seen in a long time. I just love the whiskey and color 8 together. Up next here is another Tony the Ant, again in the whiskey shell Cordovan. It's a tough color to get, and these customers have been waiting a long time to receive these wallets, and I can't wait for you guys to have it. On the inside, it's a little bit more subtle, but I love this choice. So we have whiskey shell Cordovan on the inside as well, but I love how they flipped one card slot to be the reverse shell. The reason I like that is because when this wears in together, this reverse shell will not scratch the shell side on the other side of the wallet, as opposed to shell on shell, which is microscopically abrasive, and you will start to see little scuffs and scratches that are harder to fill in, as opposed to the reverse shell, which is a lot more easy to fill in, and it tends to not scratch the shell as much. The only thing I'm worried about a little bit on this one is the ink from the left side, this Horween ink stamp here, wearing off onto the right side. That would concern me a little bit. So I'd probably try to avoid that, but the customer specifically asked for an ink stamp to be cut there. So we try to accommodate that whenever we can. And here's another really fun color combo Tony the Ant. On the outside, we have that golden yellow whiskey shell Cordovan on top of the natural shell, which is a little bit lighter and a little bit more red, orange. On the inside here, we've got a bunch of crazy colors. So let's see if I can get this right. We've got cigar shell Cordovan on color 8 shell Cordovan on the left, and on the right, we have color 4 on top of amaretto. I think people are trying to get as many different colors of shell Cordovan in each of their wallets so they can check them all out in person. And here we have what is now a color that we don't even have anymore. This is marbled ultraviolet shell, and I'm a huge fan of this marbled ultraviolet. Having a tough time saying that word for some reason. This was only made a few times by Horween. I think there was less than 50 shells of this made total, and we probably got most of them. But this is one of those colors when people see the shells in person, when they come to our shop, this is the color that stands out to most people. It's very vibrant and vivid in person. It's just very striking and unique. So I love this Tony the Ant, and the inside of this is really cool as well. I kind of like the minimalist idea with no logos, no nothing on the inside other than the reverse shell Cordovan. And the reverse of the ultraviolet is really neat. I love this sort of vibrant, dark pink purple color of the dye splatters and the random marks on the inside. This is a really great and unique Tony the Ant. So we also made a really special coin pouch for the same customer that's picking up all these other wallets. This one is in whiskey shell Cordovan, and we make these by request only. This is just a very simple coin pouch, and if you're familiar with our patterns a little bit, you might recognize this pattern. If you open this up, this is the same shape as the JR Fold wallet, but we've just stitched it up a little bit differently. So that's kind of fun fact. But I like these coin pouches. I don't use many coins, but we can also put, I've used these before, as a little business card holder. So these are very nice. And I have 2 Fat Herbies to show you. These are also pre-ordered semi-custom wallets. This is a really special Fat Herbie. On the outside, you can see that we have color 8 shell Cordovan. It's that dark brown burgundy shade, sort of those undertones that are a little bit more cherry, a little bit more burgundy. Very nice color. And on the inside, I think this is what blew me away the most today. I love looking at the random dye marks on the reverse shell Cordovan, and this one sort of got it all. very intense amount of color on there. And we have 2 ink stamps, which is also pretty rare. So this is a really special Fat Herbie as well. They all seem to be quite special today. And the last item for the day, this has been a really great day full of amazing stuff. This is a custom Fat Herbie. And you might notice right away the contrasting stitch, and this is a hand stitch on the outside of this Fat Herbie. A little bit more of a vibrant white thread on there to sort of set off and contrast the black shell on top of the amaretto shell in the middle piece there. And on the inside, we have that stark black on top of the amaretto reverse side, which is actually a really great look. I like seeing the black next to sort of a tan color with this white thread. I think this one worked out very well. I don't often suggest the hand stitching unless you like a bigger looking thread. It's a little bit more of a casual look, but it is very nice. It's just a little bit more expensive, so I don't like to offer it as a standard offering. But if you're into one of these, I can absolutely hand sew most of our products for you. So definitely let me know if you're looking to get something with these bigger, thicker threads. So one of the reasons that people often ask us for hand stitching is they've been instructed that it is a stronger stitch. And that is technically true. However, it's super overkill for something like a wallet. The machine stitch is also very strong. And because I guarantee all the machine stitching stuff that I make forever anyways, I usually advise people to just save their money unless you love the aesthetic of the larger stitch. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Thank you for checking out all the custom wallets today. I was super happy with this reverse Fat Herbie with all the color 8 marks on the inside of there. And we had a ton of different Tony the Ants that are all completely unique. And I don't think I've seen any of these before. All these different color combinations. Super cool. And I hope you enjoyed the sizing demonstration that I had on the Grant Stone. If you guys have any questions about Grant Stone sizing, any of our wallets, anything to do with Horween leather, I'm happy to help you. So until next time, hope you have a good one and stay healthy.